Welcome to Nutrition Lunch and Learn with Sandra, your RDN, where every week I have the pleasure of dishing out your daily, weekly dose of nutrition and wellness news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I hope that everybody's having a wonderful day. I hope that your weekend was well. And I thank you for tuning in live with me every week. I enjoy joining you every week. I enjoy the engagement. I enjoy just sharing knowledge. Iron sharpens iron. So I count it a privilege that I'm able to do what I feel God's purpose for my life is to help you to live healthier, to step into your highest level of health and feeling like you don't have to struggle and you don't have to suffer. And so for those who are listening to the replay, I thank you also for listening to the replay and taking time out just to get some information that will help move you and your family forward. And so we are in our final week of the summertime madness. And we've been talking about how the summertime shifts, our routine is off. Many of us don't have a routine. We're a little bit more unstructured, a little bit more relaxed in those months of June and July. Kids are out of school. We're doing more traveling, more vacations, family reunions, whatever, birthdays, events. And so it tends to throw us off. It leads us to eating more, sometimes eating more mindless and putting on the weight. And then here comes August when we're trying to come back onto some type of a routine. And sometimes we've also put on some extra pounds that we wish we didn't. And so this week we are talking specifically about 4th of July. So 6 tips for not regretting your 4th of July barbecue, feast, whatever you want to call it, and wrecking your weight loss goals. Okay, so you want to enjoy the holidays without feeling like you got to pay for it and see the effects of it weeks and weeks and weeks later. And so the holidays are a time for celebration, right? They are meant to be enjoyed. You don't have to sacrifice your health, your weight goals every time you attend a barbecue or event or party or something like that. And so again, I'm going to give 6 barbecue survival tips that can save you hundreds of calories that you won't even miss in most cases to keep you on your health and fitness goals track. Okay, and that's what it's all about. All right. So for those who do not know me, my name is Sandra Goldtree, and I'm a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, as well as your accountability partner. And I take pleasure in showing people how to get food to work for them instead of feeling like food is working against them. Okay, food is not the enemy. Not understanding how food works for you, however, can cause some hindrances, right? So I take joy in adding foods back to your plate. Many people have this long list of foods that they avoid, and a lot of those foods are something that is nutritious and necessary and can be of benefit to you. And so I enjoy adding foods back to your list so that you can lose that weight, so you can boost your energy levels, so you can keep the weight off because you're not depriving yourself and then binging later. And that's what it's all about. It's all about building lifestyle habits that last a long haul. Okay. And so chime in, introduce yourself to me. Please engage. I love engagement. This is a two-way. I want this to be a two-way conversation. So definitely let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. Do not hesitate to ask questions. Do not hesitate to make comments. Okay. Share your testimony or share some of your oops moments. Okay. Let's just make this fun. All right. And so we are wrapping up. As I stated, we are wrapping up the summertime madness, and we are talking about 4th of July, and we're giving out 6 tips for not regretting your 4th of July barbecue. And this can be applied in all situations. So it's not just 4th of July. All right. So my first question, I like to kick things off to kind of get an idea of who's on and who's listening. So have you ever overdid it during the 4th of July weekend? So we're just going to talk specifically about 4th of July. Have you ever overdone it? Meaning you overate, maybe you drank too much, a combination of the two. Okay, say absolutely. Me too. I can raise my hand as well at some point. We've all have been there. Okay, and so let's start with the first 2 tips. Okay, the first 2 tips for not regretting your 4th of July barbecue. All right, so here's a good one. People get mad about those small plates, right? When you go into the buffet line and you see these little tiny plates and you're like, okay, what's really going on? So most of us frown when we see these small plates, okay? But research clearly shows that people who choose smaller plates and utensils, eat less than without even noticing it. Okay. So basically, you have bigger plates, you're eating with your hands, you're eating more. Okay. It's pretty much what that's saying. And so remember, the food at the barbecue is usually higher in fat, higher in sodium, definitely, and calories, and lower in fiber and lower in the nutrients that our body thrives on. Okay, so the difference is substantial. So, as much as 50% fewer calories consumed, yet people report still feeling the same fullness and satisfaction. So, interesting, huh? So, just by using smaller plates, okay, you're eating 50% less calories, yet you're still feeling satisfied. Because remember, it's about being satisfied, not being stuffed. And usually, when we have the bigger plates, we're stuffed. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit more. And so, point number 2, eat slowly and mindfully. Now, this is a big one too. So, people who eat slower tend to eat fewer calories over the course of the meal. Okay, barbecues are a perfect opportunity to pace yourself. Mix and mingle with friends and family while you are eating. Don't just sit there, especially sitting there near the food, because then you're just going to get more food. Okay, so the more you're talking, the less you are eating generally. Okay, so that's the premise behind that. So eat slow. It is true. It does take time for either the brain to register to your stomach that, hey, I'm full or I'm satisfied. So you got to give it a chance. So it's good to have those conversations and not put the focus so much on food, have the focus on fellowship more. So try that out. Try that out. Okay. So my question to you is, do you go back for seconds? Be honest. So this is one of the top culprits for regretting the 4th of July or getting to that point where you're like stuffed and want to unbuckle your belt, unbuckle your pants. So type yes or no if you typically go back for seconds. Okay. So usually we get our plate, it's pile high, we eat it fast, and then food hasn't really had a chance to hit good, and then you're back in line again because usually what happens, especially if it's a buffet or potluck where people are bringing food, while you're eating, about 3 or 4 people that came in with some dishes, and of course you want to see what it is and you want to eat it. So think about all of that. Okay, survey your environment before you pick, and you're going to learn to pick selectively. And so let's go to our next 2 tips for not regretting the holiday or 4th of July, the 4th of July barbecue. So let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is eat the healthiest foods first. Okay, so if you're eating slow and you're eating on small plates, you might as well fill it with the healthiest foods that have the fewest calories. Okay. Now, this is probably a joke for most of us, but how many of y'all skip the salad when you're at a barbecue? I never forget going to a barbecue, and everybody was going past the big bowl of salad. They were like, I didn't come here for salad. I didn't come to a barbecue for salad. Well, you can still have salad, a vegetable with your barbecue. So I would suggest not skipping that because that is going to give you some fiber. It has a higher water content. It's going to fill you up, so you're not overindulging as much, but you are indulging. Okay, so don't skip the green stuff. Okay, it's funny. It's funny. It's there for a reason. We still need to eat balance, even though we're at a barbecue. But these are ways to kind of help you to not eat so much of one food and less of another. So skip the chips, the crackers, and the bread. That sounds pretty easy. A lot of people do that anyway when they're cutting carbs and stuff like that. So refined carbohydrates are the worst things that you can eat because they offer very little nutrients and very little satisfaction for your body. Our flesh likes it and it tastes good and it smells good, but it's loaded with calories, and it leads to dangerous insulin spikes, basically your sugar levels spiking up. So does that mean you shouldn't have it at all? Absolutely not. Everything in moderation, but you got to understand what moderation means. And so understanding the tools of nutrition and the basics of nutrition helps you to understand that. Because a lot of times people will just say, oh, I don't eat crackers and I don't eat chips and I don't eat bread. They just cut it out completely when it's not really necessary to do that. And so barbecues are filled with wonderful food, right? So do yourself a favor and save your calories for the stuff that you really enjoy. Okay, so just because it's there, if it's store-bought cookies, why indulge in that when you can go to the store anytime and get that? So I tend to go towards or gravitate towards things that are homemade or things that I know that I cannot get any time of the day or any time of the year. It's usually something special. So that takes growth though, okay? Because I used to just go to places and eat just because it was there. So we want to make sure that we are selective. And as you grow in this and you really understand nutrition, then you're better able to discern what's worth it and what's not worth it. So you don't have to eat your burger bunless, okay? You don't have to have or you don't have to have lettuce as your bun, okay? So do pass, I would say, which do you like better? Do you want the chips better or do you want the bread better? So you can kind of choose, but don't feel like you have to go bunless or otherwise, you're just like doing something evil, okay? So it's really, and that's where personal preference comes in. So choose what you enjoy and enjoy it. Don't let anybody else make you feel guilty for doing that, okay? All righty, so let's so name your favorites, okay? Name your favorites. What are your favorite barbecue items? So one of my favorites is potato salad, but everybody cannot make good potato salad. So it depends, but that is one of my favorites. And I like barbecue, or not barbecue, but grilled corn. Corn on the cob, fresh corn on the cob. So what are some of your barbecue favorites that you like to have or that you look forward to? There's so many of them out there. So please state yours. I would love to hear them. Okay. And while those are coming through, I am going to ask about, or we're going to share the last two. So 5 and 6 of our tips. So keep the dessert small, okay? You notice I didn't say avoid it altogether. I said keep the desserts small. So the difference between a large slice of cake and a smaller slice of cake, it can come up to about hundreds of calories. It can. It depends on the type of cake it is, but it can add up to about hundreds of calories. So to reiterate, sugar, refined carbs, they're the most dangerous foods in terms of insulin spikes, sugar levels spiking up, lack of nourishment for our bodies, and it's a trigger for cravings because you have it. And then, especially if you're not nutritionally fit, I like to say, so therefore, overall, maybe there's a lot of nutritional deficiencies. You're not really eating balanced enough. So it's gonna cause cravings left and right when you start to eat sweets. So that said, you don't have to pass on your dessert completely, but keep your portion sizes in check. Okay, that is what's important. Keep them in check. Okay. And finally, number 6, think before you drink. Okay, think before you drink. And really, this goes whether it's non-alcoholic or not, but because if it has calories, if it's not water, it has calories in it. And so there is a place for alcohol in a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so smart choices will make the difference between losing or gaining weight, and not to mention your own self-control. Okay, so think about this. One sugary drink may have 600 to 800 calories in it. And that means having 2 of these amounts to more food than many should consume an entire day. Okay, so just 2 drinks, just depends on what that drink is. It could be soda too. So it's not necessarily always alcohol. But 800 calories, if you're somebody who needs only 1,200 in a day, which is not the majority. I know a lot of women think that they need 1,200 calories, but for many women that is too low. That's 800 calories. That's over half of your calories just on something that you're drinking that is not even providing any nutrients for your body. So you want to think about, want to use your calories wisely is what I say. So is it really worth it? So you got your wine, you have beer, drink plenty of water, and remember to pace yourself. Okay, there's a rule for a man, it's 2 drinks a day. A woman is 1 drink a day, and a drink, if it's wine, it comes in about 4 ounces. If it's a beer, maybe 12 ounces. If it's hard liquor, about an ounce. Okay, so that's what's considered a serving, and that is what is considered into a healthy eating pattern, provided that all else is equal. Okay. So those are some tips there. So let's talk about this. So which do you tend to indulge in more? Okay, is it the desserts? Is it the drinks, whether it's non-alcoholic or not, or is it both? Okay, or is it both? Sometimes we just go all out, and you have to grow to a point before you get to, oh, I'm going to choose one or the other. But usually we start out in overindulging in all of it. Okay, all of it. And when I say drinks, that includes sodas, juice, anything, sports drinks, all that stuff. Okay, so all that's included. Basically, if there's something added to it, then it's, if it's not water, then it's considered a drink. Takeaway message, takeaway message. So simple tricks can help you to save hundreds and potentially even thousands of wasted calories that you will never miss, that you won't even notice. Okay, especially if you're eating well balanced and adequately throughout the day and meeting your body's needs. So I work with my clients a lot about meeting their calorie needs, because a lot of times we don't eat enough. And when we're not getting our needs met, our bodies will retaliate in many ways, whether that's binging, whether that's cravings, whether that's having an attitude, it will manifest itself in some kind of way. So why sacrifice a good time when you can just simply upgrade your health and style? Okay, so you don't have to give up everything. So it's just a matter of understanding those nutrition basics and understanding what is and what is not. So my question to you is, do you need a head start on how do you build your meals? How do you make your meals healthier? How do you make your snacks healthier leading up to the 4th of July? So we've got a little time here. More importantly, what do you need to eat on the day of the 4th of July? Because a lot of times people don't eat. They'll skip meals. They'll skip breakfast. Big mistake. Because they want to save calories leading up to the big feast, the big barbecue, whatever the big gathering is. And so I guarantee you, if you're trying to save calories by skipping meals or skipping breakfast or both, really, you are 100% guaranteed that you're going to overeat later. Trust me, there's a sane way to save calories. And so that's what's very important. And so one way to give you some ideals, I want you to definitely, I'm going to put this out here, download. I have a 5-day meal plan. It is very comprehensive. It's 5 days of easy to prepare meals and snacks and recipes. It has an itemized grocery list. It has a prep guide. So if you're not very kitchen savvy, you can use this as a way to know when to prep things, when to cook things, when to eat leftovers, etc. It's all laid out for you. It's called Jumpstart Your Weight Loss and Boost Your Energy Levels, but it covers so much. It's just really a good way to see, well, what is eating balance? What does that really mean? What does it mean to eat various colors and different types of foods and within the food group? So you'll get an idea of what that looks like. And so this is kind of giving an idea of what to eat leading up to your barbecue. Don't skip breakfast. Okay, nobody's having their barbecue at 8 o'clock in the morning. So do not skip breakfast. Have an adequate breakfast. And I've done many lives on what breakfast is, but it is not coffee. It is not coffee with fruit. Okay, so you can have coffee with your breakfast, but we want to make sure that your breakfast is adequate, because that's how we're jump starting our day. We're breaking the fast. Ideally, you've been sleeping at least 7 hours, so we want to break that. Okay, the proper way. Okay, so post any questions. Hopefully you've been doing that throughout. Post any questions, any comments that you have, either now while we are on live or later on. Okay, so I am always looking to see comments, because a lot of times people will listen to the replay. So I want you all to feel just as engaged as those who are listening live. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. This concludes what I have for your weekly dose of nutrition news for your mind and your body and your soul. Thank you for tuning in for today's Lunch and Learn. Hopefully you were eating lunch. Hopefully you paused for a few minutes, and feel free to share this video with somebody else. Share it on your Facebook page, share it on your feed, share it with others. It's all about ironing, sharpening iron, so we can all help each other out. Okay, so next week is July. Over halfway through the year already, 2023, and I will start a new series. Okay, and we're talking about how do you manage a social life without gaining weight. We don't want to just stay in the house all the time, right? We want to go out, we want to go to restaurants, we want to go to events. So how do you do that and manage it all? Okay, all righty. And so I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day, and be blessed. Bye-bye.